Taurus, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late February 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Taurus collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for Taurus gang in late February? Just starting Pisces season. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Taurus in late February. What is the vibe? What is the energy surrounding my good friends? Let's get it going here, please. Oh, there we go. Thank you. All right, so this card came out rather quickly, and I always say with this jester, this card can be very good, but at the same time, there could be some warnings or things that we most definitely want to keep an eye on with this card. It like does a little severing where it's like this could be really great or this could be a little treacherous. But before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the February subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk a little bit about this shifty little jester that we have going on here in the front. Now, you see the imagery here. We have this person, the jester, literally putting on a bit of a puppet show. Now, we're going to go with the positive message first. You know I'm an optimist. So whenever I see this card, this person is, they're not just performing, they're putting on a show, they're playing, right? They're having a good time. This could represent a hobby or a passion or something somebody really loves to do. So I would say in this time for a lot of Tauruses, whatever you're doing, make sure you're having a good time doing it, or make sure you're having fun. If you've been going through some serious things, or if things have been a little too monotonous and you've just had a lot of weight on your shoulders, Spirit could literally be telling you with this card that you need to have a little fun. You need to lighten the energy up or lighten the mood in one way or another. Now, I know everyone has fun in a lot of different ways. I guess that could be for whatever path you're on and whatever you enjoy. But this is one of my cards of finding that enjoyment and indulging in it. So that's a good thing. But what are the challenges with this card? Notice this person is, again, putting on a show. This is a person pulling the strings. So sometimes in its worst case, it could represent somebody manipulating things from behind the scenes. It could represent someone being very performative. So I always say this could be representing somebody we need to keep a very close eye on, or a situation where we don't know all the facts. So we're just going to put them down right there. You take whatever hits for you. Let's see what tarot has. And yeah, I always say this first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time for Taurus. See what's happening. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. The reading was titled An Emotional Explosion. And the reason it was titled that is I did feel the vibe of somebody potentially suppressing something to the point where eventually it all comes out. So just know that energy could bleed over for a couple weeks. Make sure if you're feeling intense things, you have some sort of outlet for it before it just kabooms, right? That was a big vibe. So, I mean, we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards here for my beautiful Taurus friends. What is happening in late February for Taurus? Please, let's get these cards going. There we go. Thank you, 10 Wands. All right. Not my favorite starter card, but that does not tank the reading whatsoever. It's definitely something we want to keep a close eye on, whether it's a situation or a concern. Let's get a couple more. All right. So we have the 8 of Swords in position number 2. Some of you really might need to cut loose a little bit. I am going to say that. When I see the 10 of Wands and the 8 of Swords, this is very wound tight type of energy. So some of you might need to cut loose a little bit. Let's get one more. What do we got? Thank you. Okay, cool. So we do have the 8 of Pentacles right here on the back end. That could be a card for improvement. I guess it all really depends. We have double numbers showing up here. So we have interesting layers showing up in your reading this week, my friends. Let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, Elementally, I like the mixture, just like all the other earth signs. You guys have had a nice even distribution of elements. So it's fire, which is the realm of action. We have swords, which is logic and communication. And we have earth. That's one of your comfort elements, right? It's dependable. It links to the material world, monetary things, career things. So it's like we have a nice even distribution, but there could be a couple of pressure points in this time that we definitely want to look at, my friends, especially with how it all plays, especially in the beginning, the little volatility we have here in the front. When I think about what we had last week, it makes sense. But let's go through piece by piece and really start to build it out. Position number one, we are starting with the 10 of Wands. Now, like I mentioned, not my favorite card to start off with, but there's positives. Just like with every card, there's positives and there's challenges. So I'll start with the positives here. The 10 of Wands to me is a card of determination, right? So even if you are going through any struggles, any issues, any problems, when this card shows up, it's like, all right, I don't care what is in front of me. I don't care what the barrier is. I don't care how hard the struggle is. I will make it through. And that is a big Taurus mindset thing. When Taurus sets their mind to something, they will achieve it. They will get it done. So that's the good thing about this 10 of Wands. There's a ton of determination where it's like, it doesn't matter how heavy it is, I'm going to make it happen. Now, the challenge with this card, it's heavy, it's burdensome. So for a lot of you, maybe you have too much weight on your shoulders, whether it's mental, emotional, even physical. With this card, it's just heavy. I always say in this time, it's important not to really burn yourself out when this card is here, not to burn the candle from both ends. It's important to rest and recuperate when this card is here. And this does also link to physical ailments sometimes as well. So for some Tauruses, you might be going through a few things in the health department when this card is here. But I feel like the energy is going to move in a positive way. I always say specifically watch out for areas like the neck, back, and spine when this card is here, because you might be holding extra tension there. So we'll see. I mean, this 10 of Wands, it could be determination, but it could also be a problem or a situation that we need to watch. Now, moving to the center, we have the 8 of Swords. Very wound tight, and you see that imagery there. It's not the nicest. We have this person, they're surrounded by swords, they're tied up, they're blindfolded. There's a little bit of sense of mystery here. When I see this, yes, it's one of my cards of anxiety, stress, nervousness, and that's an earth sign thing, especially this week. The other two had the 9 of Swords, you got the 8. So yours might not be as wound tight as the others. Now, it could sometimes represent feeling cornered. Okay, not a good place to put a Taurus, right? You don't want to make the bull feel cornered. But when this card shows up, for some of you, it could just be cabin fever, like feeling a little stuck in place or caught up, like it's monotonous, if that makes sense. If it's not stress and anxiety, it's monotonous. It could also be overthinking. Another big theme for the earth signs this week. But the good thing with this card is that it is not permanent. It comes and goes quick. So if we are seeing a problem, if we are seeing issues, when I see the 8 of Swords, it's like, okay, but it can be solved. Okay, we have this, but it can be worked through, which is really nice. That's a big silver lining with this card. So we'll see. I mean, this 10 of Wands, 8 of Swords on the front is a little rough, but we will get more detail from it. Now, onto the back end, we have another 8. We have the 8 of Pentacles, which I feel fits the theme of this rather well. We do have the repeating 8s. You know, when you flip the 8 on its side, it is that universal symbol. So I feel like we do have some underlying karmic archetypes starting to show up here. Watch out for number signs, synchronicities. Spirit could be sending you more number signs than you normally get when this card, I mean, with all these 8s and all the themes that we're picking up. But this is a card that I often link to career, work, how we earn a living, what we do for money. It's a card of effort. It's a card of determination, similar to this card here on the front end. So that does tell me if you're in a sticky position, if you're in a rough spot with all the energy we have here on the top, it's like, oh no, you got this. You will get through this. Like, there is no getting stuck, if that makes sense. Now, for some of you, you might just be in pentacle mode, right? You might be ignoring all this, where it's like, yeah, no, that's there, but I got better things to worry about. That could definitely be the case for some of you, where it's like, I'm not going to waste my energy on this. Not saying it's a waste of energy, but you might be trying to put your energy in other places with this 8 of Pentacles. I do also say this card can sometimes represent trying to mend something, to try to make something right. So I often say, like, when it comes to relationships, either it's something that you might want to work on, or we're just going to have to see what the other undertones are. So I want to dive deeper on all the Taurus. Let's jump in and clarify. Let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for our friends, please, guides and spirit team? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot. because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that 10 of Wands. Let's see what that has to say. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Taurus, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay. 10 of Wands. What's happening? Thank you. Okay. All right. So there, I'm going to try my best to say this in a nice way. When I see the 2 of Cups in reverse underneath the 10 of Wands, there might be a person that drains you a little bit. Okay, I'm not going to be mean about it. I'm not going to be mean with what I'm seeing. For a portion of you, it could either be someone you're worried about. That could most definitely be the case. This is a bit of a warning, especially with the 2 of Cups in reverse, because the 2 of Cups represents the people around us, someone that we're close to, someone that we might care about, or at least used to care about at the very minimum. But when I see the 10 of Wands, that burden type of energy with the 2 of Pentacles in reverse, some Tauruses might even feel like they're carrying too much of the load, where it's like, no, something's off here. This isn't quite balanced. It's like I'm carrying too much of this. But again, like I said, there might be a person you need to keep an eye on in this time, and we'll see how it plays out throughout the rest of the reading. But I'm already getting that little vibe, that little feeling here. 10 of Wands, 2 of Cups in reverse. It's either someone that is draining you in one way or another, or it could just be a relationship issue at this point. Like with the 10 of Wands, 2 of Cups in reverse, it's like, why does this have to be so difficult? Okay, so again, I'm not wishing that on anybody, but that's just very point blank. Not too much interpretation to be had there. But I would say in the best case scenario, to me, there could just be someone that you're concerned about. There could be someone you're worried about, like if we're taking the most optimistic approach here. But usually the 2 of Cups in reverse is people that aren't seeing eye to eye at the moment. So especially watch out for any individual, even if it's not a close relation, even if it's like someone like you work around or work with. Watch out for any individuals that, like, when you feel like they drain you in one way or another. Like, so this could be a warning about people. It's odd because I feel like there's multiple people showing up here and it's not all bad. Let's keep moving. Let's go in on the 8 of Swords and see what that has to say. Like, you ever talk to someone and just feel like exhausted after it? Like, it's kind of giving me that vibe. Let's keep moving over to the 8 of Swords. Let's see what that has to say. Either that or it's just issues in a connection. But let's see what the 8 has. What's the 8 of Swords here for Taurus? Thank you. Okay. So there is a bit of the karmic energy starting to show up here with the 7 of Pentacles in reverse underneath this 8 of Swords. Ooh. All right. This could most definitely represent something flaring back up, whether it be an individual, whether it be a situation where it's like, okay, that was kind of solved for a while, but why are we addressing this again? Or why is this back? It's like giving me that kind of vibe. Now, usually the 7 of Pentacles is calm. It's very patient. When I see it in reverse, not so much. So I would say, yeah, watch the mind, watch the mind state, the mental health, very important in this time. But just, I feel like external pressures as well. Like we had it here in the beginning, I'm seeing it here in the center. There's like a lot of external pressure. So whether you're insulated from it or not, like this could be spirit saying like you need some sort of release valve for this, Taurus. But yeah, when I see the 7 of Pentacles, this karmic card in reverse underneath the 8 of Swords, it could be either something popping back up, something returning, or a lesson that you've once tackled, having to tackle it again. So this could be a bit of a karmic warning too. And I would say it in this sense, for a portion of you, you might be going through a time of transformation. So you see, we're getting layer upon layer upon layer of information here. So I feel like this can be a karmic warning, because Spirit could just be saying like, listen, Taurus, it might seem like everything's, you know, pulling teeth, but you could just be going through a really intense time of transformation in your life. When I see the 8 of Swords and the 7 of Pentacles in reverse, and it doesn't feel like it's the easiest. But let's just keep moving. We're not going to linger here. It is what it is. Let's see what the 8 of Pentacles has. Then we'll do a quick recap before we get into the shadow. Because, again, I've been saying it since the beginning. Even though we have all this other stuff, there's a determination to it, right? Like, this is nothing that's going to really set you back too much, if that makes sense. But let's go in on the 8 of Pentacles. Let's see what that has. What's that 8 of Pentacles here? Thank you. Good. Good. So taking care of yourself and worrying about yourself is the best medicine. You know, you can't pour from a broken cup. I don't know why I'm saying that phrase, but You know, you can't help others unless you're in a good place yourself. And I think that's a really important thing to remember in this time. Now, for a portion of you, if you're connected to a water sign, this is great. This could represent a person who they're like your ride or die. They're with you. They're going to help you out. For some of you, if you feel like you need assistance, ask for it. That's a big thing. When I see the Eight of Pentacles with the Queen of Cups, it's like, yeah, I'm there for you. I'll work with you. I'll help you get through something. So I feel like there's a beautiful energy here. But the main thing I was initially feeling is like, listen, everything will be okay, but you need to focus on your well-being. I remember we had the Queen of Cups in last week's reading. Remember I said it was like emotional explosion type of vibe. And yeah, we got some stuff going on. We got karmic warnings and, you know, rough types of energies here in the front. But if you yourself are in a stable place, if you've matured to a certain point, or you've been through enough experiences where you can keep yourself grounded and keep pushing, I mean, then you can alleviate this. You could help other people around you. And you just need to prioritize the fact that you are okay. As long as you're okay, everything will be okay. I don't know why it's coming through that way, Taurus. So this is nice to me. I do like this end piece because it does lighten the load of everything else we saw. So I feel like, yeah, no, there's a good result here. I just feel this really strong karmic transformation type of energy here. Not saying that every Taurus is going through it, but let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow card. There's a nice silver lining on the back end of this spread, but position number one, we started off with the Ten of Wands and the Two of Cups in reverse. I said best case scenario, maybe there's someone you're connected to where you're just concerned for them, concerned about them, thinking about them might take up a lot of your mind space. But I did also say there could be individuals that might drain you in one way or another, or just there's just something about it where you might be bearing too much of the burden. You might be carrying too much of the weight, if that makes sense. Moving to the center, we have the Eight of Swords with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. So watch the running thoughts. That could be a big thing as well. I did say this is a bit of a karmic warning because either something might pop back up, something you thought you solved, something you thought you fixed, where it's like, okay, here we go again, got to touch back on this. So it's like a karmic cycle repeating. So I did feel like that's a karmic warning. And it is just saying that someone's going through intense transformation and you can't make diamonds without pressure. Right. Moving to the back end, we have the Eight of Pentacles with the Queen of Cups in the upright. So as long as you're good and you're working on yourself and you're chiseling away and making sure you're the best version you could possibly be, there's nothing that's going to stop you or hold you back. Once you reach a certain level of evolution, it's like you kind of can transcend a lot of these things that I'm seeing. So maybe some of you are already there. And if that's the case, that's a beautiful thing. For another portion of you, this could be a support system or somebody that could really assist you through this transformational time. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows for you. So let's get a good shuffle here for my Taurus friends. So yeah, a little tense in the beginning, but the back end of the reading was nice. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Let's get your shadow card. What do we got in the shadows for Taurus, please? Guides, what do we got? There we go. Nice and quick. Okay, we do have the Hanged Man. And this is very peculiar. I do link it to several zodiac signs. We're not going to really look at that too much. It could be Pisces, could be Virgo. I also give it to Scorpio in my own personal style. I feel like it does connect to all those signs. But if that's not the case, the Hanged Man is a retracted, pulled back type of energy. But what does it do? It did speak of self-sacrifice, so that does link to what we have here on the front end, where maybe you're just doing too much, or there could be a connection of some sort where it's a little askew. You might be doing a little more than the other individual. But if that's not the case, the Hanged Man to me is Spirit saying there's something you need to pay attention to, right? Because this is a card where it's not making physical action, but it's analyzing, it's scanning, it's strategizing. So for some Tauruses, maybe that needs to be a piece of advice for you. Maybe there's something where you just need to pay attention. Just quiet it down and pay attention and keep your eyes out, right? Like be on alert when the Hanged Man is here. The issue with it is sometimes it could feel stuck. That could be a shadow side of the Hanged Man, or it could be something or someone that's very stuck in their ways. But I don't feel like it's a bad thing. I think Spirit's just asking you to observe something a bit closer. So yeah, Taurus, that's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. February subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can check out the availability and my digital calendar on my website, mastermetaphysics.com, so we could get a little forecast for the next few weeks for you. But for the February subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of my favorite decks, the Tarot of the Owls. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments if you could snap your fingers right now and wish for something, what would it be? It could be anything except more wishes. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll talk to you soon.